YouTube, Awesome Rider here. Welcome to my review for Kamen Rider Gotchard Episode 7. So, we left off on kind of a cliffhanger in the sky with Hotaro falling to his death. And unfortunately that didn't happen. No, that was mean, but seriously, I don't like this dude. So he saves himself by using another new, final form ride, Kemi, and it kind of resolves the way you would expect. And then, most of the episode is basically about the same thing the whole series has been about so far, which is the quote-unquote debate about, Kemi's good or bad type of stuff. As Hotaro is trying to help this kid keep the bond with the Cactus Kemi because his dad, who is the amalgam, is against it and thinks it's distracting him from his studies and all that. And basically they're trying to resolve this case of the week, and I do not care about the Toku filler characters at all. I think the showing the importance of the Kemis can have good bonds is important, but I really do not care about their personal storylines whatsoever. But you have Hotaro helping with that and trying to prove that it affected his life in a positive way. And then, of course, you have Valivard being of course, I'm against the protagonist's ways, and then Rin right in the middle and stuff like that. So it's kind of just the same conversation we've been having, not to mention, yet again, reminding me very much of 0-1. And again, it's very repetitive and boring in general, but the thing that gets me about it, and I know this is a kid show, in general it's meant to be a more positive-leaning show, but I've mentioned this before, but I am really tired of always having this thing where the main protagonist's way is the only way. As they're kind of both right. Obviously, Hotaro is right that Kemis literally are not threatening. They're not evil. They're only evil when they touch human malice. And they have affected people's life in a positive way. But the other guys are right in the sense that just them being out there is kind of dangerous. And I wish that over the course of the series we could get a thing where they kind of admit they're both right and try to find a balance, rather than what I assume is going to happen, everyone's going to be like, Kumbaya, you were right this whole time, Hotaro, peace and love, and Hotaro's annoying. Kind of like with the Humagears. It's yeah, there's a middle ground there. Aruto was right. I mean, I'm not Team Robot at all, but Aruto had his points, but also people were right that they could be threats. That always cracked me up, that Aruto was like, how can people think Humagears can be so awful? I'm like, dude, literally one gets hijacked every week to attack people. I just think it would be far more interesting, and I think kind of a better message to acknowledge that things aren't necessarily black and white, but you'll always know what's right. They also debuted another new form this week, which I don't like it as much as some of the other forms. I do really like the purple-gold color scheme, though. However, it's got me thinking about another negative about the series, is that I feel like the form debuts have felt really soulless. It's made the show feel really soulless. Again, another thing that Toku is obviously basically just a toy commercial. But there's some where you can feel it more than others, and some where they make use of it better than others, and I think this is definitely one of the worst ones, especially compared to Geats, where the way that just the forms and the system work kind of lent itself towards the constant cycling in of new toys, and it still felt fresh. But in this case, it's it bothers me now we've had 2 times where we've debuted a new form so they can show off the stupid cards and gimmick, but then they go back to the previous form they just debuted, which made sense because, the Cactus Hawk form is tied to this story, had a cool finisher, but it's could you not have just made this 2-parter the focus of Cactus Hawk, and then it kind of gives that form a memorable debut in a way, because you remember oh yeah, that was the episode with the cactus and the kid and all that, and then just save the one for the next week. It just makes it feel even more soulless. Again, I don't need a big storyline debut for all these ability forms in comparison to it being more important to have storylines for the big upgrades, but just how fast they're churning them and at the weird pace, just in addition to the show not grabbing me, takes me out of it even further. In regards to just some more positive stuff and stuff I liked, there was kind of an interesting conversation with Rin and one of the villains who uses her age to her advantage and also shows off that she can control people and hints that Rin's dad might be alive, which I was pretty sure would happen, or at the very least the actor would be back in some form, so there was a little bit of movement on the villain side and them showing off a little bit of their cunning, I guess. And also, during the battle, one of them bonds with Amalgam to fight Valivard. And I liked that too, just because, again, it showed a little bit more going on. And I also like the idea of the villains just not having one main monster form, they can just use any Amalgam they want. Part of me wishes that each week's Amalgam was just the villain wearing a different one instead of these Case of the Weeks, but I kind of like that. But I feel like I complained a lot in this, but it's more my problems with the series overall coming to a head. The episode overall was alright. It was another 3 out of 5. It was fine, it was solid, entered to the 2-part. It wasn't bad, it's just so many of the issues are piling up. As I said in regards to coverage, I'm going to continue covering it weekly till at least around 10, and then I'll probably do it in chunks. I think as of right now, I'm at least waiting for Kamen Rider Legend, the Decade-esque thing, to show up. I'm going to cover his special and whatever happens with that in the show, because I am kind of looking forward to that, and I think that'll be more exciting to talk about. But then after that, I'm probably going to do it in chunks. But I'll try to keep up with like the news and like other stuff like movies. But what did you guys think of the episode? Let me know in the comments as always. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps and ring that bell so you can get notifications for my videos. Dawson Rider, signing out.